Okay,
Impact Wrestling, baby.
Impact Wrestling. But before we get started, there's something I want to address because sooner or later someone's going to ask me. And I don't want to act like I didn't know. But I am going to give you what I know, if anyone's noticed this, and my speculation, my idea per se. Now, I decided before coming on, I would check out NoDQ.com. It's not the perfect website for wrestling, but it's okay. Next to finding out why the reason that AEW could not really do a tribute on TNT because of the homophobic comments that Jay made many years ago, that's already known. This was something else.
Something interesting.
Devon Dudley has now just finally broken ties with WWE. It's a mutual separation. Basically, when you look at NoDQ.com on Devon Dudley, he says simply, I have decided that it's time to depart from WWE. We are mutually breaking up. I have no problems with them. I thank Vince, Triple H, and all the people along with Jesus Christ. Thank you for the life I've had and the ability to work with great talent. That's basically what he said on the article. And probably his Twitter. So, this is a very interesting situation. Devon has not been away from WWE since 2016, since he became a producer and worked with NXT. He's been one of the producers there. So, he's been there for many years. And he went into the Hall of Fame 2 years after he started working as a producer in generally NXT. I believe it was NXT. But here's where it gets interesting. What happens now? Here's where my speculation comes in. Now, it's easy to say he's going to go to AEW. Easy to say. Because of his extensive time, 2016, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 8 straight years in production of WWE and possibly mainly connected to the original NXT and the 2.0 version, working with Shawn Michaels, who has been generally running it for the last, 4 or 5 months easily or more. So he could go over to AEW where he could give his experience there as a WWE producer. Another one, because I know there's a few producers that have worked at WWE. They are working in AEW. That's easy to say. But here's where it gets interesting. There are 2 places I believe that he may go if he wants to try and continue being a producer. 1, MLW would be a good, interesting option. A lot of people talked about, and one of you, you know who you are, you have been talking about MLW, and I still don't think MLW is there, even though the last few times I looked, it was like in the 50s, 150, 151, I did look a little bit of it. I didn't get a chance to really watch much, but I did see 150, I did see almost all of it, and part of 151. I have not seen anything since, haven't had the chance. But the production is still bad. I said it's not the work of the wrestlers. It's production. So pretty much if Devon goes to MLW, that could help the production depending. I know I don't need to do this, but depending on if the people who run MLW are willing to listen. Another one. Impact Wrestling. Yes, I know. I'm sure everyone was wondering, was I going to say it? Yes, that's another reason why I'm adding it to this review. Because now that he's fully departed, he's not like he's a working talent. He's not. He's not a working talent. He is doing what he's doing. He generally is a producer. That's what he does. That's what he does. So the question's going to be, will he go to Impact Wrestling as a wrestler or as a producer/wrestler? If he's wise, be direct producer and help to improve the damn product. Because mainly the production value has been what's holding Impact back. Not just the writing. You can watch it yourself, and I will be talking about it here because it was not good. Everything else was actually very good. But production is still a major issue that seems that Impact Wrestling does not want to address. Now we open with Mickie James. Now, I want to say this. Mickie did a great job before Bully Ray came out. It was fine. But here's something I need to say. I need to say this. There are 2 things they need to do. Impact Wrestling right now. 1, go live. They must
Those sons of bitches need to go freaking live.
That's under production. And if Devon goes there, hopefully he's going to tell those sons of bitches, hey, this product is great, but you need to go live more often. Because if you don't go live, you're never going to be able to really improve yourself. It's not about competing with AEW or WWE. But if you really want to become more substantial, you need to go freaking live. The other one is to stay in a city that is hot. And look at how hot the people were in Atlanta, Georgia. This place was very loud, very vibrant, very great, except for one thing. Except for one freaking thing. Look at my face. What do you see there? A very dim situation.
The fans are there and they don't have the fucking lights on.
What the fuck is wrong with them? Can't they see they need to show the fans for people at home to really feel immersed? Anyway, Mickie James did her bit. Then we have Bully Ray coming out and making it all about bullying, making it very clear, Mickie, get the hell out of the ring. Get out of my ring. Don't you dare be in my ring. I want you out of my ring. And Mickie said, this ain't your ring, this is my ring. Then you lose, then you tap out. And once you hear Tom and Matthew talk about both of them tapping out, it's coming clear that sooner or later, either someone's going to catch they made a mistake by making it very clear that the tap out is there, or this is done on purpose, that it's going to make it clear that Mickie James is not going to be a face much longer. She's going to turn heel because bringing up the tap out when it came to Jordynne Grace is going to happen. Sooner or later, Mickey's turning heel if they're going to go down that route, because Jordynne Grace still has a number one contender spot. Well, not one spot, I mean clause. She does have a clause in her contract for a rematch. I will get to Marsha in a few minutes because this is the very first match of the entire thing. But once Bully says his part, telling her to get the damn hell out of his ring and you better be careful with your damn mouth. And she made it very clear, one, I can't go nose to nose with you, but that does not mean I'm going to back out. And two, she says, since I'm not going to back out, bring it. And then we get the dynamic duo of Steels and Evans coming out. And this is where it was a lost freaking opportunity between Savannah, well, not Savannah, but Tasha Steels and Bully Ray. You want to know what? I'm going to make it clear. Once she came to the ring and made it very clear that, Mickie, I don't care about your challenges. I don't care about no rematch. I want my damn title. And once they started shoving one another, and Bully Ray was trying to back her up and say, you know who she is, they had a lost opportunity at that moment. You got to understand. Tasha Steels, if I remember correctly, is a New Yorker. Bully Ray is a New Yorker. I'm a New Yorker. In most cases, New Yorkers back each other up. Even not every single time. We can be pains in the ass to each other. But this situation where Bully Ray could say, do you know who this is? This is a Buica. I can't pronounce it. This is the badass from New York. This is my girl. This is my woman right here. This is my New Yorker girl right here. And they could have done that. They're both New Yorkers. They could have played on that, and that could be able to help Tommy. It could be able to help Tasha and whatever they're moving forward with, because Tommy Dreamer did talk and talked with Dave, who is from Busted Open Radio, and I will talk about that later, counting if I don't forget. But I kind of wish they had gone there. I kind of wish they had added that in there, that you got the Bowickla, but I mispronounced it because I don't speak Spanish. Sorry, I can't say it. But you got two New Yorkers there that didn't back each other up. Eventually, you got Mickie James getting ass whooped. You got Bully Ray look like he's going to do something, get a table. You got Kaz, and then you got Jordynne Grace come out. And then you got the Director of Authority. Or was it the Director of the Authority in Santina Marella coming out. And then, what was it? Ernest Miller, the director, well, not the director, but the general manager of WCW coming out. Now, I was kind of surprised. I've only maybe seen him once. I rarely saw WCW back in the day because I was always working. So I barely watched it. Excuse me. Next to my wife, who wasn't really into wrestling. And most of the time, whenever I could watch it, was very sporadic, as I've said. And with all that was going on, I could barely even have a very great interest in it. But I did see him maybe once, but just once. So I don't have the nostalgia like everyone else does. I just don't. But Santino knew. He knew who he was. And he makes a very great statement, a very simple statement. We're having a 6-person tag. Mixed tag. You got Kaz with Grace and Mickie James versus Tasha versus Evans and versus Bully Ray. The thing that I enjoyed the most, that I kind of hope leads somewhere, which it won't probably, is the interaction between Mickie James and Bully Ray. Because Bully Ray was whooping her ass and messing with her in her face. That is what hope, that I know he probably won't come back. Because he probably sees Impact Wrestling is not really worth his time. And I'm talking about Nick Aldis.
You gotta understand, Nick doesn't think that this is worth his time.
He probably doesn't think Impact is worth his time when he used to be Magnus at this point. He started at several different places. Impact was one of them. The politicking got on his nerves. He stated it himself. There was some politicking in the back that did not feel right. And Impact was not getting anywhere, so he left. Even though he did come back for a one-off. This could bring him back. His wife is being messed with by a Bully Ray. I want to see him come back to deal with Bully Ray and Nick Aldis versus Bully Ray at maybe Slammiversary. That would be pretty cool. Now, in the end, the faces won, of course. But then Marsha comes out and faces a Mickie James, gives her the black envelope of death instead of yellow envelope of death. And Mickie just shoves it in the face. Now, I'm going to make this clear to you. What did I say? I'm making it clear to you. If anyone has seen this for a while and know exactly what I said last year.
Do you remember what I said?
Do you remember what I said what happened to a Marsha Slamovich? Who is she facing now? I said if she wasn't going to be the next challenger before Jordynne Grace, who did I say would be the first challenger for Mickie James? Marsha Slamovich. And what does that mean for Marsha?
Nothing.
Let's make this clear. No matter how much people love the darling of Marsha Slamovich, she is not going to win against, I'm saying it right now, whether it's at an Impact Plus show, I don't care. I think it's Rebellion, the next pay-per-view. So there's a very strong chance that's going to happen. Either it's going to be a triple threat between Marsha, between Jordynne Grace and Mickie James, or it will be Marsha versus Mickie, unless they're going to be stupid enough to have Jordynne Grace do a rematch clause before Rebellion. It's going to either be a triple threat or it's going to be Marsha versus Mickie James. And Mickie's beating her. There is no way Mickie is just going to job to Marsha. If she does job to Marsha, what was the point of the last rodeo? I'm being honest here. It makes no sense. None. So, Marsha just went through all of last year. Barely doing anything. Being built up supposedly as a monster, which she was not. To job to Jordynne Grace twice. And now possibly easily. Well, not easy. They're going to make it look good. I will say that. They're going to make it look good. But clearly, she jobbed to Jordynne Grace twice. And she's going to job to Mickie James easily once. I doubt Mickie's going to face her twice. If she does, it's because there's no one else for Mickie to challenge other than Tasha Steelz or Deanna Perazo, which I'm sure Deanna's going to face her and also Tasha's going to face her. It's going to happen. It will happen. I'm just saying. Next match. It was, hell, I just talked about one of them. Deanna Perazo versus Ashley Delmos. I believe that's her name. Interesting. Ashley looked interesting. I don't know if she's a second-generation wrestler. I don't know if she's not even a first-generation wrestler. I don't know anything about her. Did she have some good ring work? Yeah. Does she look interesting? Yes. Is she good-looking? Yes. Did she get her ass whooped by Deanna Perazo? Yes. Did she get pinned by Deanna? Yes. She was meant to be a jobber. But she did have a moment in the back, which I don't know if I got this shot of them both together, not Trey and her, but oh, this is going to be good. This is going to be good. Next to Trey trying to tell her how to wrestle, how to do the job correctly, you got Mike Jackson approaching a Trey Miguel telling him, hey, what is wrong with you? You don't have respect for her. You don't have respect for the business. And you can hear Trey telling him, oh, because you've been around for a million years and you face all the Brontosaurus Rexes of the women divisions. Who do you think you are? You ain't nobody. And he says, all right, if I'm a nobody, then let me add that title. Next week. Let me see if I got another shot, but this one's different. I think I got that shot. It's in my face. We're going to have a nearing 74-year-old, because he's 73 right now. I don't know when his birthday is. It's somewhere during the year. It don't matter. This guy was in his 20s when I was born, guys. He was in his 20s. Back in 1971, he was in somewhere around 22, 24, I think. In his 20s when I was born. He is 74 years old. He still goes in the ring reasonably well for a guy of his size. And he's going after the exhibition title. I kind of wish they would hold this off into Rebellion. That Trey dodges him. I wish so bad that Impact Wrestling, in their benevolence, if someone from Impact sees this, hiya, please. I know you're probably taping the first sets right now. You probably already taped this. I'm hoping your taping gives a Mike Johnson a way out to stretch this all the way to Rebellion, if that's the next pay-per-view. I believe it is. I want to see them on a grand stage, even if it is an Impact Plus show or a real pay-per-view. I want to see it there. Please. Please.
Please.
I want to see it so bad. I want to see it so bad. I put him in her face again. I want to see it so bad. I needed that laugh. Not because Mike Johnson is a joke or Trey. It's just something about putting them together. Other than when you do the the Impact Provincial Wrestling Federation, I want to see this. I want it. I need it. Now, let's move on. Let's move on to Gina interviewing PCO, where he's screaming for a Eddie. Now, here's the problem for me personally. That last match, that match that Gresham had with Eddie Edwards, he didn't need to job. I think he could have won in his hometown. I truly believe he could have won, and he should have won. And this will make it even more clear that he's not done with his past. PCO is supposedly the last step in his past, but if they are really smart, they want to stretch this out. Gresham could easily stretch it out, because I hope they're going to do something with Jonathan Gresham instead of just having some matches and that's it. They give him a real storyline, let him go into the main title, or even if it goes to the X Division where Eddie and him have to meet to each other again, and then you get a match for a title, which could be interesting, because I doubt the PCO thing is going to last that long. Yeah, they'll do maybe Falls Count Anywhere match, maybe they'll do a Monsters Ball, maybe they'll do a Full Metal Mayhem match, because they're going to do all the crazy ones. But I want to see a title for Eddie to make this mean something. That's just me. Next, let's talk about, let me give it to seeing Dirty Dango in Impact. It's good. Seeing that he was talking with the Director of Authority was good. Seeing that Macklin is really pissed off still because he's still not getting anywhere and he deserves more is bad. I truly believe Macklin needs something. So, what did we get? We got a match between Macklin and Dirty Dango. Now, am I glad to see Macklin win? Yes. Am I not happy to see Dango lose when we rarely see him on Impact TV? Yes, I don't like it. I don't. I believe he should win. But here's the problem. They don't got that many people on Impact Wrestling. One of the models that Impact has is to bring in fresh people to keep things fresh. People from the outside, bring them in for a short time, record them for a couple of months, and they're gone. But there's one of the flaws of that system. No long-term booking. You get maybe a month, maybe two, roughly sometimes a 3-month program where you could drag it out longer than that if you're lucky to get 2 months, because sometimes you only get a month and a half. Maybe you get 2 months and it's over. That's one of the problems when you don't have permanent workers and you have a model where you just bring in people briefly, do fresh matches, which can be great, but there's no long-term booking. It's all short-term. That's a flaw in Impact they need to change. And if Devon does come in as someone from production, maybe he may convince the writing team, you need to bring these people in longer. You need to write longer. You need to pay them more to stay, to have a reason. Do a 6-month or a 5-month program instead of a month or 2 months or maybe rarely 3-month program with these people that are not signed to Impact. You only do tapings. Give them 5 months of a storyline and then it's done. That's just me. Now, let me give you to like this when it came to the design on BTI. Now, they did show a brief moment of Delirious beaten by, I don't know who beat him. Was it Angels or was it Khan? I'm not sure. But when Deaner called out Callahan, because he's being called Callahan right now, he told him, do the right thing. You did the right thing cutting your hair off. Do the right thing. He basically does a Cactus 95 on the mat to Delirious. And supposedly, this is a 7-step program for a Callahan. The first one was to cut his hair. The second one was to do the job for them when it came to Delirious. Now it's the third one. Now, I didn't say this earlier, but we have the Golden 6-shot match, which is a eliminator tag. No, not eliminator. It's the what's it called again? The Golden 6-shooter. My mistake. The Golden 6-shooter match, which has all former Impact Wrestling champions, not stars, champions, an eliminator match where they will go down to being the number 1 contender for Josh Alexander's title. I'm fine with that. But he's in it. And pretty much Deaner told him. And Callahan made it very clear. When Deaner asked him, you got this Golden 6-shooter match. Are you doing it? And he said, if you allow it. And he said, good, you made the right choice there. You can follow orders. Go do that match. Win it, and then go against Josh and win the title and bring it to the design, because that is the next step. It is for the design. But, and Khan grabbed him on the shoulder, he says, if you lose, you have a price to pay. Sammy pulls off. Still Sammy. But that just shows you where they're going. They're trying to use Sammy to gain power. Now the question is Sammy Callahan going to pull a Funky, and after he wins their trust, he turns on them? Or, better yet, instead of turning on them, get rid of Deaner and take over the design himself? That's what I'm hoping for. That's what I think would be better than him just turning on the design when they think that he's fully in them. I want to see him take Deaner out of the picture, make Deaner a follower, and Sammy becomes the design instead of Deaner being the designer. I'm just saying. Now, we got a very interesting match that made me think of a possibility. Taylor Wilde versus Killer Kelly. Now, I'm going to tell you, who do I like between the two? Who would like more? I like Killer Kelly more. Doesn't mean I don't like Taylor Wilde as a witch. But I like Killer Kelly more. I like her style. But here's the thing. You got two mirrors facing one another. One reflecting back at the other the same attitude. They don't care. They like pain. They like suffering. They like to destroy. And here's the thing. During the match, they both were smiling at each other, laughing at each other as they were painfully tormenting each other while they were beating the crap out of each other, which was great. That's a good thing because it makes you feel, if you're honest, we still have a Knockouts tag division. What tags do we have? Tasha Steelz and Savannah Evans. We have basically the Death Dolls. Who else do we have? We had Chelsea Green and we had Deanna Perazo, but we don't have them now. You also had Gazelle Shaw trying to get a rematch for the tag titles, and now you're going to get the authority figure, Santino Marella, trying to find her a partner to give her a second chance because of the way the pin went last week. This could be a team. They both feel so in tune with each other, how they wrestled, and I think this is where they're going to come down to. I don't think, if they end it now with this match, it's done. I'm hoping going forward they'll still go at each other because they see each other very similarly and they don't like what they see or they love what they see. It doesn't matter. They could become the next tag team for the Impact Knockouts division. I just see it that way. I think that could work, but it counts on if the writing team is going to put them through multiple matches because they're so much alike. They want to prove they're better than the other when they're so similar. That's what I'm hoping. You guys tell me below your comment. And, that, I think, is it. That's all the matches. If I'm forgetting anything, I'm sorry. Now, the pit fighting match. Oh, wait, almost forgot about Tommy. Tommy Dreamer did an interview with one of his co-hosts from Busted Open Radio, and that's Dave. And I almost forgot it. Tommy made it very clear that he is never going to be with Bully again as friends. Even though Dave, who's friends to both of them, who's known them both for a while, wants them to make up and bury the hatchet. Tommy made it very clear. Didn't we both, along with Bully Ray, go into the office and be told whatever trouble you've been having in Impact Wrestling will not be on the air. You will not put on XM radio. No. So what did Bully Ray? He walked out, and we haven't talked since. And Dave is trying his best to say, look, let's just try to fix it. He says, no, we're not going to. After everything that he did to you, saying that I'm the reason why you got XM radio, I'm the reason you got Busted Open Radio, and to me, that he gave me my job in WWE. And I don't bring up what I've done for him, particularly getting him in ECW, getting him Devon, which, like I said,
Devon is no longer working for WWE.
A mutual separation. Could he go and be working in production or work basically being a producer or being a producer/wrestler? I'm hoping a producer. No more wrestling. Leave him out of it. He doesn't need it. But I digress. He said simply, this isn't over yet. I don't start the fights, but I finished them long term. This is going to be a war. So that means Tommy and Bully Ray are going to have a war. I kind of wish for Bully Ray to have a war with Nick Aldis because of what just happened to Mickie James, but it looks like we're going to have Tommy and Bully Ray fighting one another, which I don't know if I'm going to be happy about it or sad about it. It's not going to be 100% one of the greatest work they both did because they're both older wrestlers, and Bully Ray is in better shape than Tommy is. No question about it. So I don't know how much both of them are going to be able to pull out of the other. I'm just saying. Finally, now that's new. I thought that would be the best title for this, even though it's not new. Because even though it is new to do a pit fight type of environment, we have seen them do this in TNA before. Look what happened with Kurt Angle and, who was it? Samoa Joe, when they were doing MMA or working a cage fight. Remember back in 07 or 08? I can't remember when Kurt Angle did that fight with Samoa Joe, where they were doing basically MMA, and he was strapped up going like this. Because it's happened. Now, has it gone this far in this type of environment? No, it's different. It's not bright. It's not shiny. It's actually dark. This is where the lighting would have been good dark. This is where it would make the best sense to make the ring and the arena dark. Instead of having the fans all be in the dark throughout the entire damn show, you have the ring dark, you have the fans dark, you do it kind of like a style of NXT, which I'm wondering if they got that kind of idea, because NXT has kind of done that. Was the match good? Yes. You can say a lot about Kenny. He's not always the best wrestler. But in this situation, he did a great job. So did Speedball Mike Bailey. I am telling you right now, if you're going to watch any match, watch this match. Even though it is difficult to watch, because let's make it clear that the camera work still sucked. The lighting still sucked. Hell, when you heard the opening when it came to Bully Ray and Mickie James, the audio was shit. Shit. The audio was not, it was very echoey, and you couldn't even hear it correctly for the mics, for the people at home. It sounded bad. But if you take away from those things in production, which I always talk about, this was a great match. Honestly, if you're going to watch anything from this, I would recommend you watch the final match. And they still did mostly exhibition style wrestling. But it was good to see it. I could call this the blood sport. But honestly, yes. And Speedball did bleed. But I'm not going to lie. They have done things like this before in the past. They have. It's happened. We know it's happened. But did it feel fresh? Yes, it did. Because we haven't seen it in such a long time. And in this type of format, it doesn't mean they're going to do it again. But in this type of format, it felt fresh. It felt new. The crowd was totally into it. The Georgia crowd loved it. And seeing Speedball grab onto one of the ring posts, because there were no ring, no ropes around the ring, no turnbuckles. It was just bare posts. Only submission and knockout was allowed. Seeing him do that flip, twist, what was it, a corkscrew backflip onto Kenny was good. I did enjoy it. And the ending was very good. Seeing that even though Kenny did kind of use a chair, but mostly did not, he tried to use the environment, which I do agree with. It's smart. As pro wrestlers, they have to use the environment and psychology to make people care, and it worked great. Kenny was a good heel, pissing the people off as he's supposed to. It was done correctly. And seeing that Speedball was just so angry, so tired of this, that he took the very chair that Kenny threw into the ring. And after he stunned him well enough that he could barely move, he decided to put the chair on his head and go and do a straight kick to the chair twice. Was it twice? Once or twice. I think it's twice he did it. And he was knocked out and the match was over. I don't think this made Speedball Mike Bailey. Speedball has always been established in Impact Wrestling. He's a good wrestler. He's a good performer. We know it. But does it bring him out? I don't know. We're talking about Kenny King. We are. If he worked with Moose on a constant basis, that would make him another level. If he worked with Josh Alexander more than a few times, that would at least make him feel legitimate. But Moose would make him feel like another level. But we are talking about Kenny King. And we are talking about a style of wrestling that normally is not seen. So did it elevate him? Somewhat. He was here. He's now here. If he had been working with a Moose, he'd be here. Counting if Moose was substantial, which he's not. If he was working more with Josh, he would go from here to here, but he wouldn't really be up here. Because I'm not against Josh. But as it stands, they tried to push Josh very heavily for the last near year now. And at this point, Josh needs to drop the title. But that's just me. And I hope you enjoy this review. Peace.